Defense Ministry says that Lugansk militia have retaken territory from the Ukrainian army 60 kilometres beyond the previous front line, while Donetsk forces have reportedly advanced by 21 kilometres. The red dots do highlight here the cities where the Russian army is currently fighting with the Ukrainian army and nationalist formations. Kiev, meanwhile, accuses Moscow of aggression and says around 5,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in recent days, with 30 Russian planes and helicopters shot down and about 200 tanks destroyed. Moscow refused the claims without disclosing, though, any concrete figures, and says it's been making major advances against the Ukrainian military. This video of heavy rocket artillery has come in from a southern Ukrainian city about 80 kilometres from Crimea. The mayor has reportedly said the city is under the control of the Russian military, although locals are describing ongoing fighting in the area. And this video shows an apartment building allegedly hit by an overnight rocket attack in the northern city of Chernigov. That's about 150 kilometres from Kiev. The lower floors were damaged when a fire erupted. Reports say that one woman was injured and the blaze has now been put out. Now, in the capital, Kiev, these unverified images are coming in from there, where locals say that air defence systems are actively operating. Kiev authorities say that the city was surrounded and then backed down from that claim and say that groups of Russian saboteurs are trying to bring chaos to the streets, although that's been denied by the Russian military.
Kiev is flooded with armed gangs of looters, robbers and radical nationalists. They were given guns in an unlawful decision by the authorities to hand out lethal weapons to anyone without checking. I'm addressing all residents of Kiev. Everyone can leave the capital freely by a designated road. This road is open and safe. I want to emphasize once again, the Russian army is attacking only military targets. The civilian population is not under threat.
Well, you can see the two Donbass republics here, recently recognised by Russia as independent countries. Red dots are locations that Russia's military, with groups of Donetsk and Lugansk troops, are currently fighting for. And as you can see, there are numerous battles for towns throughout those two regions. And over to the Donbass front lines, where this video reportedly shows an explosion near the southeastern city of Mariupol, the target of which is still unclear, and we're still trying to confirm the situation there. Meanwhile, forces of the Donetsk and Lugansk republics are advancing westwards, with Ukrainian troops reportedly in retreat. Among the areas taken is the village of Nikolaevka, where an elderly woman said she narrowly escaped shelling.
Как? Вы не пострадали? Как?
Нет.
Где упала?
Я просто...
А где ты сейчас?
Они там стреляют по Киеву-ка.
По-моему, выхода опять. Пойдемте, товарищи.
Now, Ukrainian troops are believed to have been surrounded by Russian army forces near the southeastern city of Mariupol. Reporting on this and other developments too on the front line, here's correspondent Murat Gazdiev.
Our hearing is that the city of Mariupol, which is Ukraine's largest port, is now almost surrounded with the garrison that is there. The Russian side has said that it is nationalist elements that are putting up the stiffest resistance, and that those units belonging to the regular military, to regular formations, that they are choosing to negotiate and in some cases lay down their arms and return to their homes. But it is very difficult to verify this information at this time, because events are developing so quickly and because there are so few reliable reports close to the front lines, where it is extremely dangerous. The situation there is that many roads have been mined. We have received reports from the city of Berdyansk, which is halfway between the Crimea and Mariupol, which is the axis of Russian advance, which is where Ukrainian units have planted in the city itself and in the outskirts mines, for example, to surprise and to devastate advancing forces. It is very difficult to reach Mariupol or the vicinity of Mariupol at this point. There have been, according to reports, more than a dozen civilian casualties here in the city of Donetsk, victims of undirected fire into neighborhoods, civilian neighborhoods, places where there are apartment buildings and other houses. We have seen, of course, all over Ukraine, different reactions to this operation. There are certainly civilians who have been happy to see Russian forces, but there have also been those who have been less than happy to see again Russian troops advancing through Ukraine. On the whole, with authorities, with the administrations of various villages and towns, there has been contact. They have been somewhat responsible. They have tried to agree, try to negotiate with Russian forces about responsibilities, for example, about joint patrols with police, being kept up to speed and allowed to do their job, to prevent looting, for example, to prevent crime, murders from taking place in the anarchy that is often left behind after military operations.
We discussed the actions of the military, who aim to enter the city, ensure order and reassure residents. They convinced me that this would not affect the life of the city in any way. There will be order in the city. Our police will patrol it.
There is, of course, also the fact that the Russian military has been keeping us up to date on its statistics, which is how many various military infrastructures, sites, objectives they have destroyed, which is at this point over 1,000, as well as the majority, from what we understand, of Ukraine's air force has been destroyed, many before being able to take off, many jets, many helicopters before being able to take off in strikes directed at airports and airfields and hangars and other assets belonging to the Ukrainian Air Force. The West Bank of Kiev is also said to be under the control of the Russian military. Of course, the situation in Kiev is, of course, desperate, made much more so after authorities there boasted that they had handed out almost 30,000 assault rifles, 10 million rounds of ammunition, RPGs, as well as grenades to the civilian population. We heard at first that only a passport was required. Then there was footage of people just coming up to boxes and trucks, picking up guns by the dozen and leaving, which has resulted in, as we have seen on social media, again unverified footage, anarchy in the capital of Ukraine. Nevertheless, the Russian side says it is making all efforts to avoid civilian casualties, which includes a ban on bombing or launching rockets and missiles indiscriminately at cities. They're trying to keep all strikes, precision strikes, to military infrastructure sites, and again have reiterated that they are offering Ukrainian forces, those that don't belong to nationalist